What's up, you Gio Freaks? Welcome to the third episode of It's All About the Numbers. I'm your host, SoDakZak, and that's a fact. I'm a geocacher from South Dakota, but you can call me Zach. Follow all of my accounts on social media at SoDakZak. You can find me on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, and obviously on YouTube. Mainly make sure you're following me here on YouTube by hitting that subscribe button below. The rest of my social media can be found in the description, as always. Do you sprint for your caches? Do you fizzy just for fun? Do you journey just for jasmers? Or do you do that first to find run? Well, if you sacrifice sleep or safety to save your streak, then It's All About the Numbers is the show that you seek. This is a not so frequent, not so infrequent show for geocaching that I'll bring to you whenever I get the chance. So hit that subscribe button and ding that bell so you get the notification whenever a show goes live. We just passed 400 subscribers about a week ago, and I want to keep this ball rolling. Let's keep the numbers growing. Invite your friends to subscribe. Share it on your Facebook geocaching pages if you can. I just want to reach out to as many geocachers, bring them into this conversation, and have a lot of fun answering your questions. I'm going to keep posting these videos as often as I can, so I hope you can join the rest of us Geofreaks. I received many stories and comments and tweets and emails about the Jasmer Challenge video that we did last week, so thanks for responding. I loved reading all of you guys that have gone out of your way to find Jasmer dates, all the stories you had to share. One that I wanted to share with you is from Matt Laskowski from Poland, and he is the Gio Freak of the week. So he writes, "Greetings from Poland. You're not just watched in the States. I really like the show. Thanks. And other films on your channel. You seem like someone who really is a Geo Freak. I am. I know you are too, and everyone watching. We love our geocaching and going after those numbers." All right, he continues. "I have some thoughts about your Jasmer episode. I think basically you should take into account that some of the challenges like Jasmer are almost impossible for people outside the US to complete. We do not have old enough caches. The oldest cache in Poland is a virtual in Warsaw, the capital of Poland. That's GC26A9. The oldest physical cache in Poland is now archived. The oldest active physical cache is GC61BA, but the age is kind of tricky. It was placed in 2002, but there were no finds for 11 years. 11 or 11? It was archived, but the current owner found the remains of the container in 2013. He performed maintenance and adopted the cache from the original cache owner. Interesting. So this story is pretty complicated, and maybe," he says, "I'm not saying it is, but it might be perceived as a slick maneuver to maybe get some of these older caches reactivated. So long story short, there's no chance for Jasmer without a significant budget to travel outside of Poland. Speaking of the numbers, what do you think of the idea of reactivating the archived caches, as in the case of GC61BA? Is it a way to improve geocaching and give us some older dates to go for and preserve a lot of those historical caches? Or is it just a cheap way to boost statistics? Thanks for the show and keep up the good work." Hey Matt, thanks. So what I think about that is you're completely right. If you're not in America, it's really hard to fill all those Jasmer dates. I think I don't know. I think you can do it outside of the US, but it's really difficult. And either way, you're going to be spending a ton of money traveling and probably going outside your country. And so I do realize, so I think for Jasmer, for those, it should be get all the ones you can in your country. I mean, if you do that, that's still amazing. And then you got the rest of your life to, make it to America and get there. And if you never do, hey, there's so many other challenges you can do. But as for reactivating some of these old ones, it's kind of a toss-up, because I don't want them just reactivated just so that we can boost the statistics. But man, I think these historical caches, because we're only 17 years into geocaching. What's it going to look like 20 years from now? Are we going to be, is a Jasmer even possible? So I think for sure preserving, we need to do everything we can and only archive if there's absolutely, basically I think if you lose permission. Okay, these older ones, I think there was just one archived in New York. They lost permission. From I think the park that it was in. I could be wrong on that, but you get the idea. if we're able to maintain it, adopt them, whatever it takes, keep these things alive. These are so important for a lot of these old challenges. And once they're gone, they're gone. I think like let's say that one, I'm not sure if the one in New York was in a park and it was, so if it was in a park and then it was, they no longer had permission, I think it's worth respectfully saying, all right, we'll archive it. But, you know, say we get 4 or 5 years down the road, it might be worth bringing back up to that park and saying, look, the cache that you had in this park had huge historical value for geocaching. So can we please maybe consider bringing it back? And who knows, maybe they're willing to. Maybe you commit to doing a couple CEDOs a year just to clean up that park. Who knows? But thinking outside the box, I would be okay with something like that. Now, if it's just someone that says, hey, I know this has been archived for a decade, but I mean, I found a bottle top while I was there, so I think that was the cache. We should reactivate it since technically I found it. I think that's more on the line of cheating, so I think it needs to be looked at by a case-to-case basis. All right, thanks for that, guys. On to this week's topic. It's ProjectGC's Badge Gen stats and belts. So the Badge Gen on ProjectGC, so if you go to Project Geocaching, ProjectGC.com, for those of you that don't know, it's an amazing statistics resource, and it gives you even more in-depth statistics than geocaching.com does. I'll have the link to all this in the description. I am a paying member. I really, really enjoy that, and I highly encourage you to, but if you can't, you're still going to get a lot of value from this. The Project GC is Badge Gen. Essentially what that is there's badges awarded for all these different challenges. Silver, gold, ruby, emerald, diamond, platinum, all these different, a whole string of badges, colors that you can get based on your performance. For example, for traditionals, you might need to find 50 or 100, and then as you find a certain number, your badge level goes up until you're platinum. And so for like the fizzy grid, so you sit there and you get, 9 combinations, 18, 27, all the way up to 81, and then all of a sudden, boom, you hit your 81st DT combination, you fill out that fizzy grid, and you get a platinum badge. So it's just another fun way to keep track of your statistics. That's the badges end of it, but the other end is the belt end. And what the belt is doing is it's giving you a point system. Your goal is to get to 400 points, which is a gold black belt. It's a gold belt, but it's actually above black belt. So you get to black belt with like 6 stripes on your belt, and then you get to bronze, silver, gold belt. And when you get to 400 points, but how you get those points is really interesting. So you get points for every 100 caches found, you get a point. You get 2 points for every event hosted. You get 0.5 points for every difficulty terrain combination in excess of 40 combinations. So you have to find 40 and then everyone after that. So you max out at 20.5. 10 points for completing the difficulty terrain matrix. You get a certain number of points for the number of days in a year. Filling up your calendar gets you a certain amount. 0.05 per trackable moved. 0.1 per photo uploaded. So there's really so many different things you can do to get points. But the goal is, it's a fun benchmark to show that every cache you're finding is helping you reach another tier. And I'm doing this show because this last week, I just passed 400 points, and so I maxed out my belt. That made me really happy. It was something, as I'm on a streak, right? So I'm just, every day, there's not really much to do, and I don't have many caches to like target ones that start with the letter D, for example, for challenges that I need. I don't have a lot of challenges I can fulfill right now. It's winter, I don't want to be traveling too far. I don't have many big geocaching trips in my future right now, or this winter at least. And so this is a good way, I can still be discovering and moving trackables. I can still keep my streak alive, which slowly builds up that point total. And I finally got it at the start of this winter. I think I was at like 350. So it was a way that I didn't have to be finding too terribly of complicated caches or really unique ones, but it still gave me something to be working towards. And I think this is a good resource for people that are just kind of stuck in a rut, or just another resource of statistics for you to focus on. So I want to hear from you guys about Badge Gen. Do you use it? If so, what does it add to the game for you? And if you haven't, is this something you might use in the future? And if you hate it, I want to hear from you too. If obviously, if you're listening to this show, you kind of know it's a show about geocaching statistics, but it's okay if it's not something you'd like. And I just like hearing the reasons. Now it's time for some numbers. Numbers, that's a number sign, or hashtag. Hashtag it's all about the numbers. I want to focus on some key numbers in your ProjectGC belt category. So these are the ones you can actually max out, and I've maxed out 7 of the 9 categories. So the first one is getting 25 points for photos uploaded, and you get 0.1 points per photo uploaded. So you need to upload, what is that, 250 photos. And so the next one is Trackables. If you log 500 Trackables, discovered, moved, whatever, you can also get 25 points, which maxes you out. I have 0.5 left to go. So 10 more Trackables and I'll be there. I'll have maxed that one out, so I'm pretty excited to get that one. There's also filling out your entire calendar. You get 0.08, sounds like a mundane number. So you actually max out at 29.28 points. I wish they would just, when you complete your calendar, round up that to 30. That's just the OCD in my head. I just don't like that it comes out to 29.28. You can get 1 point for each 5 difficulty caches that you get, but there's a maximum of 5 points. So you can find 5 of those and then you've maxed that out. I've found 35. I don't get all the points for that, but I maxed it out. Sounds great. You get half a point per FTF, and that maxes out at 30 points, so that's 60 that you can possibly, or that you need to get to max that out. I've maxed that out. So you get 10 points per 50 caches found on the day with the most finds. Your maximum is 40 points. So if you do the math, that's 200 caches. And just a few months ago, I did max that out. I found 206 caches in one day to max that out, which was so far probably the hardest one for me to max out. You get 20 points for either finding a cache in 15 distinct states or 5 distinct countries. 40 points are not awarded if both conditions are met. But I did find, I think I have both of those covered actually. Because let's see, it'd be United States, Iceland, Norway, New Zealand, and Scotland. Yeah, so I should have 5 of those, and then I have like 20 states, give or take. I do meet that one, and I have maxed it out at 20. You also get 10 points for completing the DT matrix, or your fizzy grid. I've done that 6 times, but I only get the 10 points for the first time. You get a half a point per difficulty and terrain combination found in excess of 40 combinations, like we discussed earlier, and I've maxed that one out. So the other one that I have to max out yet, besides the Trackables, is my events hosted. So if you get to 15 events hosted, then you'll have your 30 full points. And I am at 7 hosted, so I'm about halfway there. I'm going to have 2 more events on the horizon, so I'll just keep ticking that number up until I reach that. That is all about the numbers. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of those do you think is the hardest one to attain? Answer below in the comments. Love to hear your answers. I read through and try to respond to every one of them. Next, I want to give you a few tips if you're considering pursuing the gold belt. So, first, you got to look up your stats. Go to ProjectGC, put in all your information, go check it out, see where you qualify. You got to see where you're starting out and set some goals to continue climbing that ladder. Start scheduling events. Events is probably one of the harder things to do. You just got to start scheduling them, going to them, get to that 15 events as soon as possible. Everyone in your area is going to thank you for that. It could take you 30 weeks at minimum to reach that, so get on it. Max out those 9 categories to max out as soon as you can. So always, be taking photos for challenges, obviously post them, but whenever you're at a cache, take a photo. Like, share it. That's something that I think has been recently added to geocaching that makes it so much more fun, is all the photos you get to see with these things. Hide quality caches. This sounds kind of counterintuitive, but those will slowly trickle in points because you get 0.1 favorite points for every, or 0.1 for every favorite point that you receive. So if you're hiding these things, even if you don't do anything all winter, some people might be finding your caches and giving them favorite points, and it slowly ticks up. Plus, hiding quality caches is just like a nice thing to do for your fellow cacher. So thank you in advance. Don't be a vanilla cacher. The belt rewards the Renaissance man. So these belts reward the cacher that can do kind of everything. And it kind of encourages you to try new things and get really good at a bunch of different things. Streaking, fizzy, filling out your calendar, doing crazy challenges, hosting events. It rewards the Renaissance cacher. Do things consistently. I would encourage streaking. We did that in my earlier video. Going for that fizzy, climbing that tree. You guys know how much I love climbing. It's so much fun. Focus on a few of the things at a time. 2 or 3, pick 2 or 3 of them to really focus on. Search for caches that fill those requirements and go after them. And then just keep the ball rolling. So that's it for the tips to reach your gold belt. And now it's time for SoDakZak's challenge for the week. Seriously, I gotta go lift, guys. I'm gonna go hit the gym right after this. Challenge of the week. The challenge is raise your belt color by 1 notch. They do notches on your belt, or 1 entire color if you can. This obviously is if you're not a gold belt already. If you're a gold belt, just get some points this week. I want to hear from you. Did you make it? Did you get any further on your belt? Seriously, let me know how you do. If you fulfill this challenge, if you let me know that you obtained it, I will give you a shout out. Any of these challenges, if you message me saying any of these, it could be previous videos, because a lot of you don't see it the first day. But if you do this and you're accomplishing some of these challenges that I'm laying out in these videos, tell me. I'll shout you out in the show. That about wraps up our show for the day. But to close out each show, I want to do something a bit more interactive to get each and every one of you something. You ready? I'm going to grab something right over here. What is it? It's Trackable time. This Trackable is the award coin medal. The award that I got for winning Moga's 2-person competition. It was sort of a race. I think we covered 5 or 6 miles. And we raced, and you had to find like 25 or 30 geocaches in that time. And we did. And EJK PBR and myself, we won. We were the last to enter, first across the finish line. And so I want to give you guys the Trackable number for this first place medal. It is KS3W9E. KS3W9E. First place for Moga. Gotta go defend my title this year. I will be doing a different type of show next week where I want to answer your questions. So seriously, anything geocaching, hopefully numbers related, but ask questions. As many questions as you can, lay them out. I'm going to do sort of a Q&A video this next week. I'm actually pretty busy. You'll see why in a coming video, but this next week is really exciting. I can't wait to share it with you, but I don't really want to do a specific show because I might not be here. I mean, not that this is like a great studio or anything, but I'll be doing a different type of show, and I want it to be about your questions. Ask any questions you have so far about the show, about me, about statistics, about geocaching in general. Let's see where we can take this. I want to try this Q&A show. Share this video. I want to be bombarded with questions. Seriously, like, flood my inbox. Let's try to get 100 questions in. Okay, that'd be a pretty long video, but I'd do it. You guys get to determine that. Well, Geo Freaks, that's all for the show. Remember to subscribe and share this video with your Geo friends, especially if they are getting that gold belt, black belt, red belt, green belt, whatever belt you're on, go for it. Let's spread the word about badge gen and belts. All these badges, these belts, it's just another fun thing to do in geocaching. And I started geocaching and knew about ProjectGC right away, but there are a lot of people out there that actually don't know about it. So let's share it with them and bring them into the conversation. I appreciate all the support in these first few videos. I'm really trying to get a show here that you guys like, but the more input that you guys get, the more I can tweak the show, the more I can answer your questions and share your stories. So seriously, just let me know. I will see you guys next time, and catch you later.